Hey guys, this is Scott for Rebellious Noise, and I'm here with,
It's your boy Dan from Rebellious Noise.
and we are back talking football, and it feels good because we are talking about the FA Cup quarterfinals. Dan, how'd you feel?
Mate, it has been a long time coming.
Exactly. So
Like,
we obviously with the Premier League is back. It's brought up some interesting stories so far, and I'm sure the FA Cup's going to do the same. As you can see, Arsenal fan, Dan's a Man United fan, so we've got a lot of interest in the FA Cup. With a lot of history for both our teams, the two most winningest, as the Americans would say, of the FA Cup. Really, I think we've got the most, and you got the second most, right?
yeah,
So we love a bit of the FA Cup.
we do indeed.
But we'll see how much we love it after this weekend's games because we got.
It's pretty much the only thing I think both of us can legitimately. Oh wait, are you still
No,
Europa League? I think.
we're in nothing, mate.
So it's pretty much the only thing you guys can win. We've got a shot at the Europa League.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But yeah,
other
I
than
mean,
that, it's like
100%, I think it needs to be our focus because I just don't see Europe happening. I mean, that's crazy. I'm saying that. Not just the Champions League happening. I don't see Europe happening. I was optimistic before the restart, but
you
hey,
guys are taking Brexit seriously.
I think they are, mate. But hey, I'm trying to bring some good memories back. As you can see, FA Cup winning shirt here. I don't think it'll be anything like that. But yeah, we'll see. And I guess that's a good place to start because the first televised game, or the first in order of the being played, will be Sheffield United versus Arsenal. So basically, we're going to give our predictions here, just a little bit of rundown what we think is going to happen, and hopefully we'll see you again for the semis. But at the moment, we're talking about the quarters, and yeah, Sheffield United versus Arsenal. Straight off the bat, Arsenal not having a good time. If you would have asked me this before the restart, I would have said, yeah, we've got a good shot. I think we're going to start focusing on the FA Cup. But even though I think that probably is true, that we should focus on the FA Cup, I just still don't think. I feel really weird saying it, but my prediction is we're going to lose 2-1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a right banana skin for you guys, especially because like obviously before all of the lockdown stuff happened, like Sheffield United are in great form. You know, they're going
Yeah,
great guns in the league, but then it all depends because Sheffield United could think like, well, let's try and focus on getting into Europe and not necessarily play their fully strongest team in that game.
that's a good
And
point, yeah.
that sounds stupid to think like, oh,
The
Arsenal are
rules
only
of
going to beat a
reverse.
team by playing by them
Yeah,
playing a weakened team kind of thing. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't think you're going to be far off with the 2-1 thing. I think it might go. I think Sheffield United will go through. It
So,
might be by one. I think probably 2-1 or maybe. See, I don't even know if you guys are going to score. I don't know because
yeah, I mean,
Hendo's been in good form for
Henderson's
Sheffield
been really
United.
good. I mean, to be fair, Sheffield United, their first game back, they lost 3-0 to Newcastle. And obviously, we'll get into Newcastle as well. But it was part of a red card. All three goals came after the red card. And like you say, before the lockdown, they were in really good form. So,
And they had that 0-0 against Villa as well with the one that went over the line that should have
oh,
counted,
yeah, and that should have counted.
which
But
was
yeah,
ridiculous. But
it's
that's
yeah,
another story for another time.
exactly, exactly. So two games where they were kind of unfortunate, to be fair.
Mm.
Whereas Arsenal, we weren't unfortunate. We just weren't. We haven't been good enough, So it's just, and it feels like it's going to be like that Brighton game. I just feel like it's going to be like there's no deadlock. Like we don't break the deadlock for ages. We do it too late, and then it doesn't really matter because they pound back on top of us, or that maybe they even get the first goal. And I feel really weird because I'm usually optimistic about Arsenal. I'm a realist, though. I'm not. I'm not here acting like we're better than we are because I really think we're in a very, very shaky place. But I am usually like, like things can pick up. I do see potential. But after the week where we've been having, I just feel like, well, the 2 weeks we've been having, I just feel like we're in that. It's typical at this moment for us to, like you say, have that banana skin.
Yeah, like well, considering you guys like going into this period and stuff, you were unbeaten in 2020, and then it's like
Mm.
this is coming literally at the wrong time. So I blame Mikel Arteta to be fair. If it weren't for him contracting it, then none of this would have happened.
Yeah, putting the pause on the momentum like that. But
So
yeah, I mean, going on to Arteta, I think he's a great coach. A lot of things are coming out lately that people are
yeah,
saying if anyone lets anyone down, it's Arsenal going to let him down rather than him let Arsenal
exactly.
down.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think he was a good player for you guys. Actually, I did
yeah,
rate him
in
as
the
a
FA Cup,
player.
the era where we were winning FA Cups, and I thought that was when we were gonna, we needed to capitalise then, and people talking about comparing us to like the Invincibles and stuff like that, and like we're always gonna get compared to our best teams, like you always get compared to the treble season and stuff, right? What I think we realistically need to do is compare us to those FA Cup years where we're not as good as those teams. So we need to take a proper look at ourselves at Arsenal. But anyway, we'll be here all day talking about that. And I'm sad to quickly have to move on and be like, Arsenal are out. I really hope obviously I think we can win. But I just, after, the way things restart, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Sheffield United embarrassed us.
Yeah. And if I'm right in thinking as well, the quarterfinals now, there's no replays in the quarterfinal anymore, I don't think. I think
really?
It's just straight up one leg now, yeah.
Okay.
So either way, I think it will have to be decided like on the day as well. So
yeah. Well, there was a penalty shootout in the last round, weren't there, with Norwich in that? So
yeah, so I think that's what they're doing now. I think it's from last season because I know they were trying to streamline it. So
yeah, especially at the moment with they're trying to skip games out of the way. So I'd imagine so. Exactly, it hadn't been before. All right. What's your score result? Score prediction even?
2-0 Sheffield United. 2-0.
I can't even be annoyed at you.
It depends. If David Luiz plays 3 or 4, if he doesn't.
But even with the Luiz thing, he got a hard time. Obviously, it was his fault what happened in the City game.
He's conceded 4 penalties this season, 2 red cards.
But he can be something. Anyway, let's move on to the next game, which is actually your team, Man United versus Norwich, will be the next game on the Saturday. And again, Man United, one of those teams in recent years, much like Arsenal, not quite what they were. And I think before the restart, I would have been more confident about Arsenal than I would have Man United. But since the restart, that game against Tottenham, right? You had that thing with De Gea, for example, and Maguire, Keno going mad, which was hilarious, right? But other than that, like the last 10 minutes of the game, I found really entertaining. And I felt like, all right, you had the dodgy penalty that wasn't given in the end because it shouldn't have been. But
the Bruno,
yeah, but
I don't know how it didn't get booked for diving. To be fair,
yeah, that's another story. But yeah, I just felt like they were really. I was expecting them to score basically in that last 10 minutes. I thought it was very, and I'm specifically bringing up that game because Tottenham are like obviously in the same kind of level, And if Man United are threatening like that, then I don't think they're going to have any problems with Norwich. And I think it's going to be 2-0 to Man United for me.
Yeah. So, I think it's one of those, again, like depending on what team we kind of put out as well, because we're trying to focus on making sure that we're in Europe next season.
Yeah.
More specifically, trying to get into the Champions League rather than like Europa League kind of thing. But, I think Norwich are really struggling. Like, they're rock bottom of the table, I think they're probably going to try and come at this game like all guns blazing, but then they're going to obviously have an eye on the Premier League as well and thinking like, we need to try and save our best players to try and keep us in the division.
That's a good point.
So
who was it that year? Was it West Brom that got relegated but won the FA Cup? No, or Wigan. Wigan against Man City.
When they beat City.
But it's like that. If you're going down, I don't think Norwich are staying up. So if you're going down, like maybe focus on the year you're at least, you remember that year back. Like I imagine Wigan fans look back on that year and think we won the FA Cup that year.
Go down, win the FA Cup, and then next season playing in the Championship and the Europa League. That's
a good point.
That's strange.
Yeah.
But no, I think we're going to have far and enough to beat Norwich. I would not be surprised to see Pogba start the game as well. So I think he's going to put some of like the big hitters out. 'Cause I think this is probably one of the competitions that Solskjaer's going to look to win. I think he's going to want to cement a trophy.
Yeah, he really needs to. Time has been running out for a while, I think, for Man United and Solskjaer. And I think this is a good chance, like you say, for Solskjaer to kind of put his flag down and say, look, this is what I did with the club.
Yeah, so look, I've come in my first full season. People wrote me off. I've won a trophy. I've done this. I've done that. I think it's going to be a bit more comfortable. I think probably 3-0.
Okay.
United possibly.
Mm.
And what's interesting as well is so all of the big teams left in the competition, we were saying earlier, they're all playing away from home. So,
Yeah.
but then I suppose in this current climate where there's no fans, it's like no one's really at that much of a disadvantage, I don't
Mm.
think now. So, I mean, I don't even think that's going to play too much into it.
Yeah, I
So,
think they've said statistically, I can't remember what the actual stats are. You're a stat man, Dan, anyway, you should know. But they have said, haven't they, that the rate, and it was the same in the Bundesliga, the home advantage has dramatically changed.
gone, yeah.
I think there still will be some advantages, but not
Yeah,
like it was when it was, a full capacity crowd.
I mean, it kind of showed like in the Merseyside derby, like Liverpool having to get changed in like a porter cabin out in the car park, pretty
Yeah, that was
much,
so
because
strange.
of how
Yeah,
small Everton's stadium is. So,
yeah, yeah. Might see a
but
bit of
yeah,
that. Yeah.
that's the magic of the FA Cup, isn't it? You're thinking like us playing some like random non-league team, changing the car
When you
park.
faced Crawley all those years ago, remember that?
Yeah, yeah. So I think 3-0, 3-0 United,
Yeah.
coast through to the semis. Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we're agreeing on the results so far and pretty close on the score lines. Moving into Sunday, then we've got Leicester City versus Chelsea. I think it's a little bit tougher to
This is tough to choose, this one.
predict. Saying that, I'm still going to go with Chelsea though. As in, I say still, like they are obviously the choice, but they're not really. I think Leicester have done really well this season, and Chelsea are a project. They're growing, and I think Champions League might be the thing they're focusing on. Europe is a set for me for Chelsea, but unless something catastrophic happens. But I think this is a good opportunity for Frank, much like Ollie, to put his flag down and say, look what I've done with that youth. And I think Chelsea, this is the thing. I know I don't want to keep going on about Arsenal, but the lure of clubs like Arsenal and Man United are only going to last for so long. Arsene Wenger and Ferguson, yeah, that history. We're still signing players based off of what Wenger did, without a doubt, right? Not just like what he built, but the kind of nostalgia and stuff like that, right? And Man United is still the same. We're lucky in that sense. Chelsea could have started to slip here as well, but they've got it fresher, and I think it's shown by them getting Ziyech from Ajax, Werner as well. Like they are still signing these big names. They are building. They've had the slowdown, and they're still managing to attract these names. And I
Yeah.
think because of that, I think Chelsea's dip is not going to last as long as people thought it was. And I think the FA Cup is a really good opportunity to build with youth, give them that kind of trophy experience early on, and then getting those new signings in. And I think it's Chelsea are looking like they could rise here.
Look bright for next season, kind of thing.
Mm.
I think though, like Lampard's got to be commended for like the job he's done this season on with like limited like availability in the transfer market. Like they kind of brought him in as like, okay, this is what you've kind of got to work with. You can't really put your own stamp on this team.
Mm.
And some of the young players that he's brought in have actually done like a really, really good job for him. That being said, I think it's probably going to be the first one we're going to disagree. I think Leicester could take this,
Mm.
It's going to be close.
I think they could, yeah.
I think
Did I say my score, by the way? Because my score is 2-1 to show how I also
No.
think it's close. But yeah, 2-1.
See, I think this one might go all the way, This could go like extra time penalties. So it could even, if it goes extra time penalties, I think Leicester, so it could be say like a 1-1 draw, Leicester win it on penalties. That's probably going to be my prediction for
again,
that.
I think it's something that Leicester would be focusing on as well. Because again, another team that seems sure to get Europe, but the challenge is whether or not they keep, Champions League kind of hopes alive and stuff like that. But yeah, and they've been doing really well under Brendan Rodgers, another guy who could be again slapping that flagpole on the ground and say, "Look what I've done here," already. So I
It's a
think you're right.
serial winner with Celtic as well, with
Yeah,
but obviously
not so much with
it's
Liverpool, but yeah,
it's a bit it's a bit of a different comparison, like the SPL to the Premier
of
League.
course.
But the fact that you look at his CV, no one can take away the fact of how many trophies he actually
Yeah.
won with Celtic and stuff. So that's gonna bode well for Leicester, and he's building some really good foundations there at Leicester. You've got Vardy's he's up there as one of the league's top scorers. So if they can get him firing on all cylinders and just keep solid at the back, then they've got decent chance. So
I think you're right. It's just
I think it's a
But
toss of a coin, this game, really.
yeah, the only reason why I say Chelsea is because I can picture them holding up that trophy at the moment. I can see it. Maybe that's because
So
it's
you think
happened
they're
more
going
in
to go
recent
like
years.
you're thinking
I can see them
Chelsea's
getting
going
quite
all the
far.
way,
Yeah,
kind of
obviously
thing? Yeah.
depending on the draw and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of these teams in this, I think FA Cup it should be a big focus for them, and probably is. And for that, especially the heavier hitters like Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, and City, like you're talking. Even though I'm saying Arsenal are going out here, I do think that if they went through, they could go on a run. It could work out for them. You know, the FA Cup, as we always say, is the magic and stuff like that. And the one-off games are quite unique. Which I am enjoying actually, that we're going through a knockout competition in the middle of what would have been like the Euros, you know. So
Yeah.
it's nice to kind of get a
But
knockout competition in the summer still.
the thing is, even the Premier League at the moment seems like a kind of like a World Cup thing,
It
where you've
does,
got
yeah.
football on like kind of every day kind of thing.
Mm.
It's really weird. Like I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that all the time when
Yeah,
the
so it
season
should be. Yeah.
restarts.
The players might not like it, but even you're
No,
right. Same with the European competitions, the way they're going to wrap that up.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we might not have the Euros. And by the way, check out our videos on the Euros that might have existed, where Dan picked his England squad that he thinks would have gone to the Euros, and I pick who I think would have won the whole thing. Bit of fun, and people seem to be enjoying them. So hopefully we'll do a bit more of that. But we're going on the real
We've been
games
busy
here.
boys, haven't we, mate?
Fantasizing about competitions that don't exist. But
Yeah.
yes, we are talking about real ones as well. So with that being said, I'm going for Chelsea, Dan's going for Leicester City, and now we go to the final quarter-final match, which is Newcastle versus Man City. Now, Man City, they ain't slowing down, it seems. Coming
Like a
straight out
freight
of the
train.
start. Yeah, and I think a lot of people thought, you know, when it kicks back off, Liverpool going to win the league really quickly. Man City probably aren't going to play their strongest team. That's not happened, right? Now,
City
obviously,
can still win it, mate.
technically, yeah. I mean, it looks like obviously it's still going to go Liverpool's way, but City, it seems to be like playing for pride now, really, and playing for momentum, I guess. And yeah, doing really
They're
well.
playing like they've got a point to prove, really.
Exactly, yeah. Like,
You know,
because you don't want to
still...
get it. Yeah, you could just let go, and the points gap is huge, and I don't think they want that. I think they're going to try their hardest. But that being said, they know realistically they're not getting much out of it, other than pride. So I think the FA Cup is going to be a focus for them to kind of like, especially take it, because it is a big points gap. No matter how much they reduce it, I don't think it's going to be reduced by that much. So I think the FA Cup is a good focus, and we've said on Goal Hanging over the years, go watch our Goal Hanging episodes, how we like the fact that Pep and Man City go for these competitions, and the Carabao Cup as well, the League Cup. I don't know why I even called it that, but you know, the League Cup and the FA Cup. Pep likes to you know, go in for the kill on those competitions, and I think it elevates them.
Rightfully so as well, I think.
Exactly. I mean, me and you, obviously, lovers of the FA Cup. We love it, you know, but there are fans out there and who don't value it as much, and I think it's a shame. But that's another conversation for another day. But again, I think Man City is going to come in strong here. My prediction is going to be 3-0 over Newcastle. I've been impressed with what Steve Bruce has done with Newcastle when everyone wrote him off, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's done pretty well. Now, it could still spiral out of control. Don't get me wrong. It could still go wrong for Newcastle this year. But I think they've done well. Again, obviously, that recent 3-0 win over Sheffield United is going to give them a boost as well. But Man City are getting the 3 goals past teams like Arsenal. And while we're not the Arsenal of old, we're still Arsenal. And obviously the 5-0 thrashing at Burnley, for example. So I think Man City are going to go goal heavy in this one. And yeah, that's why I'm going with 3-0.
Yeah, I don't think you're far off, to be fair, with that assessment, really. I think they've just... It's weird how they were like the last team back at training, but yet they've come in and they look like fresher than everybody else. They look like they've been like playing... They're just...
That's
literally, if the season was started now and that start that City made, I would just be like, they're winning this league at Canada this year. But, you know, I think... As you say, Guardiola's going to have a point to prove. He's going to want to win a trophy.
I think Champions League is going to be their main focus.
Yeah, even though I think they're still not going to be allowed in it next season.
Year,
though.
yeah. Which is going to be crazy if they win it and don't get it.
Can't defend it.
Yeah.
So, but
I think it'd be interesting if they went and won it this year. I really do. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably right as well with the scoreline. So I think 3-0. City is probably about right, to be fair. But because I mean, Newcastle, as you know, as good as Bruce can get them playing, I just I just still feel that they lack that striker that's gonna bang goals in, and Man City are not conceding at the moment. They're hardly conceding shots at the moment.
Yeah.
Ederson could literally just put a chair in the goal with and sit and read a newspaper, and City would still win games comfortably at the moment. So
Seems that way, yeah, definitely.
and I don't think Newcastle are gonna have much joy in this one. So I think Man City, I'd say same 3-0.
3-0.
3-0
Okay.
City.
If that's the case, we're looking at some. We've agreed on all of them, haven't we? Except for Leicester and Chelsea. And if that's either way, that one, whoever goes through there, we're going to get some tasty ties going forward. Whoever
fair,
wins
the one I did think we'd disagree on was Sheffield United Arsenal, because I said I thought Sheffield United were going to.
No, I'll give you that one this time, mate. I think we could win. I do think we could win, but I got a really bad feeling after that. I didn't think we'd beat Brighton. I thought Brighton, obviously City. I knew what was going to happen there. And I had a really, really bad feeling about Brighton. And it's just we haven't done enough since we've come back to show that. Why is there any belief that we will beat Sheffield United? Nothing's told me that we will beat them. So for that, I'm saying we ain't going to beat them. It just seems typical.
I don't see the giant killing happening, mate. To be
fair. Idiot. And another one as well.
That lofty place in the league where they are.
another point as in what factored into my kind of results here, predictions for the results even, is that Chelsea were I know it's a long time ago now. It was a different world we were living in when the last round happened, but Chelsea were the only ones that really saw away big competition. You could argue Norwich as well, because they did it to Spurs on penalties. So that was an impressive feat, because Spurs, you would imagine, would be in the quarters. Another team you would imagine would be Liverpool, and Chelsea beating Liverpool 2-0. I just think again, the games have been delayed, so I think even more so Chelsea would have been fired up for this round. But going off, by that. I mean, who else? Like City beat Sheffield Wednesday. You guys beat Derby, we beat Portsmouth. Teams that we should be beaten, to be fair. Whereas Chelsea actually convincingly won 2-0. So it's another factor why I think Chelsea are going to really go all guns blazing in this. But that's pretty much it, Dan. We'll see how right we are come this week.
That's the quarterfinals done.
That's the quarterfinals done. And I'm getting hungry now. Don't know why I said that.
It's always the way, mate.
Food on the brain, mate. Okay, well, that being said, it's going to be an interesting weekend of fixtures, and let us know what you think. Let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win all of these matches. Tell us what your scoreline predictions are, and tell us maybe even who you think is going to go all the way. Hopefully, we'll be covering the rest of the FA Cup on the channel, but we cover a lot more football content anyway. So we've got the Premier League, we've got the European competitions coming up again that we're going to be talking about. So please subscribe, check out more of our football content, and we've got a lot more content on the channel as well. Film, TV, other sports, music, pop culture, and all that jazz. So I've been Scott. This guy over here has been...
I've been Dan. It's coming home. There we go. Let's do this.
For who? Who's it coming home for?
One of the English teams staying in England, so there we go.
Yeah!
Come on, England.
It's an England win this summer. That's all we're talking about.
Football is technically home now, so...
There we go, staying home. We're all staying home. Right, brilliant, guys. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.